Hey everybody, welcome to Pacific Wargaming. Thanks for tuning in on this fine Saturday morning. It's a beautiful day outside and I hope it is where you are too. So we're looking at the 17th of November 1939. We're playing as Germany. This is the 5th video in our Germany series. We're going to be rolling with this Germany series until at least 1945. Let's see how things go for us. I think in the last video we got a little tunnel visioned on where we were after redeploying out of Poland and getting started on some early air battles and sub battles. And we'll be continuing with that today, but the reason I say tunnel visioned is I haven't looked at the rest of the world yet. So let's just do a quick check around the planet, and I'll try to remember to do that for at least 30 seconds at the beginning of each video, just to improve your, let's say, situational awareness of the progress of World War II, or I should say our fake World War II. Let's see, so Japan has pushed in a little deeper into China, but they haven't really made any inroads in this part of northwestern China near Mongolia. Usually it's a little bit different. Usually Japan has pushed further south and maybe has made less progress further south. But it's super variable. It depends a lot on the decisions and the difficulties you choose early in the game. But it looks like, at least as of late 1939, Japan has still a long way to go in China. Obviously, the Pacific War hasn't started yet. In the Americas, I don't expect to see any changes. The French are still dealing with uprisings in Algeria and Tunisia. That's normal. In 1940, we'll start to see some unrest and some uprisings in Iraq, chiefly, and maybe Saudi Arabia if we can get them onto the Axis side. But yeah, that's about it. The Soviet Union has annexed Western Poland, which you will have remembered. It hasn't quite got to the point of annexing Bessarabia in Romania. That happens in 1940. And they haven't annexed the Baltic states yet either. That happens in 1940 when the world's distracted by the German invasion of France, which we'll get into the very early planning stages of this video, hopefully. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, just a quick recap. We have some police units in Poland, but our basically entire army has been redeployed to the western frontier of Germany. So we have 1st Army guarding the Rhine, 1st Panzer Army behind the line a little bit, upgrading their tanks to full medium tank status, and we still got some ways to go for that, but it's winter of 1939, so we have some time. 2nd Infantry Army, which will be our main infantry striking force into the southern part of Belgium and mainly the Sedan crossing, which is the crucial point in the battlefield. 3rd Infantry Army will be pushing into southern Holland and northern Belgium, trying to pin down as many enemy units as possible, and then 4th Army will be pushing into northern Holland, some of which we're probably going to break off temporarily for our invasion of Scandinavia, which is really the main combat of this video. So let's get started with some redeployments. Let's check our production as well. No change really from last time. We're finishing really the majority of the surface units that we're going to build in the early part of the game. I'd like to make some more progress on these motorized units. We're going to need them to hold ground that our panzers have captured in northern France. We're also finishing up some infrastructure. We kind of need to get done with those. We need the IC to build combat units. I'm going to actually push our 2 carriers down a little bit further and try to free up some more IC for another round of 5 motorized divisions, which we really do need to get out in the production queue. So yeah, so let's get started on another 5 of these. So we'll build them as reserves. We'll move these destroyers down as well. They're important, but not as important. Subs, however, will stay where they are. And radar is important, but we can do that always later. Yeah, I think this should be good. So there is a point where if you just delay things forever, you might as well just cancel the order and build it again, because in the ensuing time that's passed, the texts that you originally ordered are out of date. But I don't think we're quite there yet on these, so that's probably fine. We'll leave this stuff up top, and that's it for production. I think we're okay on technology. So let's plan out the Scandinavian invasion. So we did start with that. We don't have enough landing ships to do a historical version of the Norway invasion. The ahistorical side is we'll be using capturing Sweden, which you only really need to capture. Let's see where those victory points are. You only really need to capture about. How do I edit? I want to edit. Yeah, you only need to capture about that much of Sweden before they capitulate. And then we'll be heading into Norway, and you only need to capture about that much of Norway before they capitulate. There is the Narvik victory point, which, yeah, again, we don't have the landing capability to get our mountain divisions that far north, but we don't need to capture it. Oslo and Bergen are more than 90% of their victory points, so that's kind of our halt line. And let's hope that we can get up that far north fast enough. We'll be, well, let me actually stop editing that. Yeah, so let's save that plan real quick. All right, and then we'll stop editing. So we'll be moving the 13th Corps to Kiel, and we'll be moving the 14th Corps to Heide, right behind Lech. We're not going to probably need them for the Denmark part of the invasion, but we're going to want to have these infantry corps for Sweden attack. Our mountain divisions, let's put up the plan again. Our mountain divisions are going to, and our motorized corps, as soon as it's built, are going to stick to racing up the west coast of Sweden. That's where our best motorized terrain is. You can see the plains and the urban. And they're going to basically, first motorized corps, when they're constructed, are going to race to Oslo, and then subsequently fan out to Stavanger and Kristiansand. And then our mountain divisions will race north through Oslo and head to Bergen, and then maybe the 5th mountain will head to Trondheim. And then our 2 infantry corps with standard infantry divisions will just fan out slowly towards Stockholm and what was our other victory point up here? Fallon. So that's kind of our production, or sorry, our unit loadout for that. We don't have, I normally would try to have 2 mountain corps out by now, but it's really not necessary. I definitely want to have a 2nd mountain corps for our Caucasus, wow, I really butchered that. Our Caucasus part of the invasion of the Soviet Union, but we got some time before we're at that point. So let's let this redeployment happen. I'll go up to 4 speed. We'll assign these 2 corps to 5th Army in Kiel. Let's see, 5th Army is not attached to a headquarters, so let's attach it to... We'll attach it to Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, which I'm not really going to use as a actual army group. I'm going to use it for armies, replacement armies, and garrison units in Germany, and then any army that's not committed to a normal army group. It's kind of a staging army group, if that makes any sense. But 5th Army, it doesn't make sense to attach them to AG West. That's really not that deployment's strategic direction, and it doesn't make sense to attach it to any of our future Eastern Front commands either. So it'll just be directly attached to our upper command structure for the moment, and not really just for the moment, for this whole campaign, and that's fine. Eventually we'll have a Scandinavian kind of theater command that can hold on to the units that we end up keeping there as a garrison. So we can totally capture Denmark in late 1939. It does get pretty cold, and it already is. It's minus 3.6 degrees Celsius in let's see, Friedrichshafen. It's actually -5 degrees Celsius, but the terrain is just so nice for fast units that we could actually conceivably capture it prior to the Swedish-Norwegian campaign. But from a roleplay standpoint, I'd rather just kind of unleash on all three of these countries at once. So we're going to wait until February 1940 to start that attack. So let's get the clock rolling here, because I don't want to just hang out in 1939 forever. Six USB. I'm going to wait till they're over 100% strength before I send them out. It looks like... Oh, I want to just capture my naval units. It looks like the other USB groups that we have are in pretty decent shape. Yeah, they are. We've lost our 5th USB. I'm not going to just say undersea boot every time, so just get used to me saying USB. It looks like we're going to have to reconstitute that from scratch with one of these units in production. And then as for air forces, we're going to need some fighter cover up north, and I think we're going to accomplish that primarily with our carrier air groups that are not committed to any carriers yet, because we don't have any carriers, and that's okay. They'll get some combat experience prior to being assigned. I cannot talk today. To a carrier. So Adler's in bad shape. One of our only convoy raider for the moment. We're going to be getting more through game decisions. We're going to just leave him in Emden for now. We do have JG6 up north, but that's a home defense fighter group. But it should be able to cover the southern part of... Honestly, if we get to the E variant of JG6, the BF-109s I should say, I think we might be able to cover pretty much all of southern Sweden and southern Norway, all from Kiel, which would be really nice. Okay, we're not sinking too many convoys. It makes a lot of sense. The British aren't really trading too much with the Soviet Union yet. They don't really like each other ever, historically, but they only get along post Germany invading the Soviet Union just out of necessity. So they're not trading so much up here, which explains why we're not sinking too many convoys. Really any, actually. It looks like the UK is not even trading with Norway. So we're actually... Let's see, who's down here? Let's return our U-boats just for a brief amount of time. I want to redeploy them. Let's just go home real quick. 3... That's in a pretty decent spot. I'm going to see if I can get deployed over to the west coast of Ireland on the next round. It is winter, so let's roleplay and say that the U-boats are headed home to escape some heavy seas that are making it difficult to spot convoys, which definitely happened. I'd have to check Wikipedia, but I know there were a couple winters in 39 to 44 range that the submarines basically did complete redeployments. Like they would all come home and then head back out in a new wave post some storms in the North Atlantic. So we've spread out our subs returning to base along our major ports, Wilhelmshaven, Hamburg, and Kiel, just to spread out the repair a little bit. Okay, we should start seeing them coming home here. Yeah, they all are headed back. We can let the British waste some fuel trying to spot our non-existent subs. We'll send out the rest of them, hopefully right around when our 6th submarine division is ready to go into action again. Our infantry divisions are still 1938-39 tech for the most part, and that's okay. Our tanks are just a little bit over 1/3 finished. I think they're all in the same production run, so they should be around the same complete status, which looks like it's the case. Okay, progress on air liaison, which is a blitzkrieg technology specific to Germany. This really just means that there's Luftwaffe control personnel embedded with our ground divisions that makes it easier to communicate with air assets and bomb targets in a more timely and focused manner. That's what target focus means. And then we've made a technological advance on our naval bombers. Let's check that. Yeah, so we're at 1940 tech with Port Strike, and this is most navies, or sorry, most air forces use those techs for naval bombers. But Germany, we will build some of these soon, but we're mostly researching those techs for our carrier air groups. They affect that as well. Oh, and our first 2 motorized divisions have built. So let's check really quick on the status of our motorized HQ technology. Sometimes the fastest way to find it is just to re-queue it and then pop it up to the top. So we're only halfway there. We'll leave our motorized divisions in the Berlin region. We'll just consider them still in the process of formation. And we'll rename these to Panzer Grenadier divisions because we will be upgrading these to mechanized divisions. Probably the first winter of our Soviet Union campaign. All right, and we'll assign some motorized generals. I usually like giving the Panzer Grenadier divisions and armored divisions commanders that have the battle expert modifier, because our Panzer and motorized divisions have a lot of complexity in the attached regiments, including this motorized support unit, that benefit quite a bit from combined arms bonuses in general. And if we add battle expert on top of that, I think it scales pretty well. So I usually try to reserve battle expert for motorized and panzer divisions. I'm going to save some of these guys for our next round of panzer divisions, but I'll attach Bohm to 2nd Panzer Grenadier. The logic behind motorized support, rather than just building a dedicated artillery or anti-tank brigade, is it allows us to merge those into one brigade, because motorized support kind of has components of those exact things. It gives us more slots in the brigade structure. We're only allowed to have 7 brigades right now. We can eventually get 8. It allows us to have enough slots to put in a heavy motorized anti-air regiment and a motorized engineer regiment. So if you look quickly back at our panzer divisions, they don't have component engineer or anti-air regiments right now. When we do get 7 brigades, well, we actually already have 7. It doesn't show 7 because one of them is upgrading. When we do eventually get 8 brigades, I'm going to add motorized engineers to our panzer divisions. That's more important in the long run than motorized AA. Ideally, we'll just have air superiority, right? But our motorized divisions are going to be functioning as our kind of lightning reaction. Let me rephrase that. Our rapid response divisions to take kind of advantage of, let's say, an undefended river crossing, or our panzer divisions just shattered some enemy units in the neighboring territory, and our motorized divisions are going to exploit that. That's a better term, exploitation divisions. And because they have motorized engineer, and heavy A gives some piercing attack too, they'll be able to cross rivers faster, and because they don't have attached I'm going to remind myself what slows down our panzer divisions. I think tanks destroyers are just a little bit slow, but it looks like our combined speed is still pretty high. That's going to slow down a little bit as we advance. But I think my original logic was that our motorized infantry are just that much faster than our panzer divisions overall, and they can get across rivers faster. So they'll be kind of in the same area as our panzer units, and then we'll be kind of taking advantage of the pros and cons of both kind of concurrently. So I think I spent a little bit too much time describing that, but I just wanted to explain why we have separate panzer and separate motorized divisions. That's kind of the reason. Plus, these are just cheaper to build, so there's always a place for having a motorized division. All right, let's check 5th Army. So they're in pretty good shape. When these 3 motorized divisions finish construction, it looks like February 1st, we'll send them up north for the Scandinavian campaign. So I'm going to break my own rule and temporarily go up to 5 speed. Okay, I'm going to pause again. Road infrastructure. Okay, so our first homegrown industrial self-reliance, which is what autarky means, is ready. So we're gonna definitely build that because we need to up our metal and rare materials prior to the invasion of the Soviet Union. When we lose that trade with them, we're not self-sufficient yet. So let's go ahead and build that. The IC efficiency loss side effect of that is really not great. Trust me, I wish I didn't have to take that trade-off, but you got to choose trade-offs in this game. It's kind of designed to force that on you, both to just make the role play a little bit more dynamic, and you just can't have everything you want, right? So let's. It looks like our subs are back. They're a little bit beat up, not too bad. We'll let them repair at least for a month, and then we'll send them back out. Okay, I think that was our last Evo group. Yeah, okay. All right, let's I think we've given the French enough of a reprieve on their on the bombing we were doing last episode. So let's send JG4 out on a scouting mission here, just to get a sense of. Wow, the range on these D1 variant BF109s is really bad. All right, we're just gonna not do directed missions. We'll just try to expand our circular area of responsibility of air intercept as much as we can. And I guess, okay, another SS Tokov is ready. I really need to assign these to SSHQ. I just don't have one yet. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, let's just send our medium bombers in. It's a little bit of a risk, but I can't let these air bases repair themselves too much. So we'll do runway cratering one more time. I just really don't want to give the French or the Royal Air Force just any ability to challenge us on the frontier. So looks like, yeah, those are all night attacks. We got those covered, I think. Let's just check and see how the first 3 kg do. We'll go down to lowest speed. I don't know if you guys can hear the game soundtrack, but they have some kind of wartime music. At least for the major nations, there's kind of nation-appropriate music that plays in the background. All right, so it looks like the air bases are still significantly damaged, and the French haven't been able to repair them very much at all. So let's bomb Metz as well, doing the same kind of mission with KG4. Okay, we're in December 1939 now, so we're making a little bit of progress here on the progression. Okay, Metz had repaired itself quite a bit, so we'll repurpose KG4 now on Nancy right here. Okay, and their planes are not able to repair either. You can see that they're all damaged. Okay, Nancy had repaired itself quite a bit. Strasbourg is still very dangerous airbase in France, but because of the level of fortifications and anti-aircraft guns, we're not able to really damage it very much. So we'll just hope that the AI is not smart enough to redeploy all their air assets to Strasbourg. All right, I think that's enough. Let's send KG 1 through 4 home. Here, I'll actually turn up the music a little bit. I think it gives some historical ambiance. Hopefully you guys can hear that. I don't want it to be too loud though, so. If I look back at this recording and I don't like the volume of that music, I will believe me, I will cut it out. All right, I think we do have an air combat. Okay, so we have JG2 engaging some British light bombers. These are probably Bristol Blenheims. Looks like they're doing some nuisance bombing on Bitburg, or one of our bordering cities. So we'll up that to 5AA, but that's not a priority, so I'll leave it at the bottom of the IC list. Okay, KG3 hasn't been told to go home yet. Let's do that. We'll give these guys some time to recover a little bit, and then we'll send them out on another mission. Their strength is fine, but organization, and represented by the green bar, does matter. So, okay, twin engine pilot training we forgot to train, so that prevents. Well, it just increases the overall level of max organization. It looks like we're peaked at 88 right now. But it also reduces the attrition of that organization. So let's get those on. Air-based strike tactics we also forgot to train. It's not too late to do that. Air superiority and interception tactics and ground tactics, that was an oversight. That should have been trained much earlier. Let's see what else. Fighter pilot training and fighter pilot ground crew training, that's an oversight. And CAS. So I'm going to move those to the top of the research tree just to catch up on that. And then fighter pilot ground control. This doesn't matter too much until you have radar, but we'll get it on there. And then forward air and tactical air will do also. So yeah, we had some catch up to do. I'm glad I checked on that. We're good on Navy. Blitzkrieg, we're looking okay. We'll start training 1940 techs, and we'll move tank crew training up to the top. That should be okay for now. I'm actually going to turn the music down just a bit. That's better. If it's too loud, you kind of can't even hear yourself think in this game, so. Okay, so our Panzer divisions are about halfway through their upgrade process. And our motorized units, let's see. We'll do the Road Network 3 decision. There's decisions that pop up for upgrading your motorized support units in the decision tree unit window, not necessarily in the tech tree window, so we really do need to check on that from time to time. Okay, Road Network 3 is done. Okay, Witter, HSK 3. Was an auxiliary cruiser, a Hilfskreuzer of the German Navy that was used as a merchant raider in World War II. Let's see. She was one of only 2 German auxiliary cruisers to survive the war after one 1940 cruise. Alright, so we'll launch her. And she's located in Wilhelmshaven. We're going to be using Emden as our base for convoy raiders, so we'll let them redeploy after they get a little higher than 1 strength. We'll assign them to the North Sea Command. Adler should be in North Sea Command as well. Alright, so our submarines are looking good. And then SAG should be in North Sea Command, and then Ostfleet will be in the Baltic Sea or Ostsee Command. I should have done that earlier. Okay, let's get the clock started again. We'll go up to 3 speed. Okay, the time's getting away from me here. I don't know if we're going to actually have time to fit the Scandinavian campaign into this video. So we'll get started on the Denmark invasion just a bit. We'll hope that Norway and Sweden don't declare war on us as soon as we do that, because that allows them to rush troops to Malmo and try to block us in. We'll invade Denmark in January. Alright, so I'm gonna take a risk here, and we're going to send KG 1 through 4 on some strategic bombing of Strasbourg. We might not be able to damage their air base too much there, but we can certainly try to bomb their industrial capacity in the city. KG3 will do some installation strike, which I think might damage their potentially their fortifications, but hopefully at least their anti-air infrastructure. We'll actually set these all to night missions. I think I forgot to do that for these two. Yeah, I did. So the French and the British, and really us at this stage, don't have too much of an ability to intercept fighters at night. So early in the game, night bombing is a very powerful way to use your air units. So, and then KG4 will well, let's just we'll just do some logistical bombing with them. Okay, so let's see how this goes. If any French air units try to get into the field, I have a feeling JG4 will be able to cover our bombers. So we'll go down to lowest speed. Air missions happen so fast, you really have to be at 1 or at most 2 speed to see what's going on. So, okay, KG3 arrives at the target first. Okay, we've done some damage to their anti-air. JG4 has taken off. Okay, so this is something that we want to be aware of. So I can't tell clearly if those are French medium bombers, you can see in the lower right, or our medium bombers that are in the region. I suspect that it's that, but it looks like the French have 4 naval bombers, interestingly, at the Strasbourg Air Base. And it looks like our fighters are engaging 2 of their medium bombers that tried to take off. So let's hopefully do some damage to those. Let's see what our losses were in the first run. Pretty minor, but it is night bombing, so we're able to avoid some losses because of that. But I think night bombing also reduces the effectiveness of the missions, right? Because it's night. So we didn't do too much damage to Strasbourg. We'll just we'll keep up with the missions for now until we take losses that I'd consider significant, like somewhere down by 70 or 80%. We're probably terrifying the civilian population too, which is not really a part of the game, but something to think about on a roleplay level. So yeah, not very much damage. But it looks like, because it's so close to Germany, our bombers are able to return and do multiple missions per day. At least that's how it appears. So, and yeah, we're not really taking any losses, which is good. This is a little late in the day to be bombing, so they took some losses on that. But it is pulling some of their air units into the sky, which is allowing our Jagdgeschwader, probably still butchered that, our JG4, I'll just call it that from now on, our fighter group to do some damage, hopefully, on their air units. Alright, yeah, so we're really not making any progress, so we're gonna preserve strength and call off these attacks here. It's possible that we could have done a bit more if we'd stayed on, but there's no point showing all your cards by continually attacking one city for multiple days in a row. I mean, that's just asking to get smacked. Okay, so those were French units. So our bombers have all returned. And this is too juicy of a target to pass up. So even if we can't necessarily damage their airbase logistics, we can definitely try to damage bombers on the ground. And that's still done through runway cratering. So we're gonna do day and night, because there's too many French air units in this territory to pass up. And we're gonna do runway cratering for all 4 of our KG. Excuse my burps. Alright, let's see how that goes. Just watch the strength in the lower right. Oh yeah, we're doing some damage to their bombers. It's not significant, but it's something. And that's repair cost in the form of reinforcement that the French have to spend IC on. So that's not bad. So we're not taking too many losses, but yeah, I think the game models the strength of air bases and the ability of an air base to avoid damage if there's a pillbox and fortress in the same province. I guess that's kind of modeling like underground aircraft hangars or something like that. So we're not able to do too much damage to these French planes. Alright, well we're going to make them bunch up in Strasbourg because their other air bases in eastern France are pretty damaged. So that's still kind of a victory for us. Alright, we're going to call off these attacks. Okay, KG3 is going to get one more attack in, it looks like. Yeah, and they're taking some damage now. Not significantly, but we're not making very much gains either, so those losses aren't worth it. Alright, we're going to return to wartime. And KG4, we're going to return to Ansbach. Alright, so from time to time we'll bomb these other air bases just to force the French to bunch up in Strasbourg. Alright, so it's still December. Let's check out Poland really quick. So we don't... Alright, I'm going to use this SSHQ unit to kind of hold all of these SS divisions that are just kind of floating in the open here. Or not all of them maybe, but we're going to call this one okay, so this is historically accurate. So this is the SS Command Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, which is this part of the ex-Czech Republic. And it's under the command of Reinhard Heydrich, who's probably one of the most evil men in history. I'd encourage you to look him up in Wikipedia if you don't know who this is. He was killed by the Czech resistance in early 1942. And I think that's probably for the better, right? So let's attach this to... We don't have an SS Theater command right now, so we'll just attach this to Hitler. That'll work for now. And then we'll attach these Standarte in Austria and the Czech Republic to him. Alright, and then we're going to move this one to Poland. Okay, I like naming my headquarters units in a consistent way, so let's see. I'm going to assign this to Hitler as well. We'll eventually get an SS command structure and we can attach it to that, but for now we'll just do this. Unit leads with the logistics wizard trait bonus are great to put into core command level because that supply consumption reduction applies to all units under his command. So we'll do that, and then we'll detach the Leibstandarte and put that directly on Hitler, and then these ones will attach to Poland command. Alright, so that's cleaned up a little bit. Yeah, that is. Okay, so let's speed up the clock a little bit here. I'll be posting another video right after this one, so I know I'm trying to keep them around 45 minutes. And if that means I have to post 2 videos about the same part of our Germany World War II Hearts of Iron game in order, then I'll do that. I don't want to get to videos that are an hour or over. I think people tend to tune out at that point. Okay. Let's check our text here. Carriers, nice. So we've made some carrier progress. So we'll turn off these two techs. Let's see if that influenced the tech level of our carriers. It did not, but that's, you know, every benefit to AA for our carriers is a positive thing. All right, I need these guys to start production soon. We'll actually move these subs down. We can move them up later if we need to. How are we doing on our single fighter technology? We're really behind on that. We got, looks like late 39 and very early 40 we'll be able to upgrade our fighters to the next variant. We're going to organize our home front, so we lose a little bit of money, but we gain, and supplies, but we gain some rare materials and some manpower, so let's go ahead and say yes to that. Let's see. That's it for decisions for now. Some more recon unit coordination advancements, and then Yugoslavia is giving us transfer rights. I don't really know why. It's a little early for that. We're going to say no, because it doesn't really matter, and we'll consider it a bluff, because we definitely are attacking Yugoslavia later. Okay, our next round of light cruisers is almost done. Railroad improvement, yeah, I'll take that. Okay, that railroad and road improvements improve our logistical ability to transfer supplies, and they also slightly improve our industrial capacity efficiency, which makes sense. If you can move goods between factories faster, then that would make a lot of sense. Alright, Battlefield Modified Armor is available now, so this is just a slight bonus to transport, let's see, yeah, transport organization. I think in previous versions of this mod, this had actually improved the toughness of our tanks slightly, but it looks like they got rid of that. Armor unit training, that's always good. We actually need our motorized HQ unit ASAP. February 9th. Okay, Atlantis, another convoy raider. Looks like it had a pretty successful career. It was sunk in November of 1941. Had the longest raiding career of any commerce raider. Wow. Yeah, okay, we'll take it. It also spawned in Wilhelmshaven. We'll attach it to North Sea Command and we'll assign it a commander. We'll give it... Yeah, so old guard bonuses don't really make sense from a... Well, and they don't make sense in any way for fleet commanders. I guess attack speed and offense, maybe? But we're not going to use this guy. That's not very helpful. It's sometimes helpful for infantry divisions if they're just purely on defense, but we'll give him a commander that has the spotter trait. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Witter has gone up to 37%. We'll send him to Emden. Adler has gone back out to sea. We're definitely going to not necessarily keep our convoy raiders on the same cadence as our U-boats. So, all right, let's check the weather over the North Atlantic, and then we'll hopefully send out our subs again. Okay, it's still pretty stormy. How are we doing on 6 submarine group? Yeah. All right, we're going to send our subs out again. So let's look at naval map mode. We're going to focus less on the this part of the ocean and try to get more out into the Greenland Iceland UK gap, or GI UK gap it was called in the Cold War. That looks good. Later, when we get better sub technologies and we've captured France, we're not going to really want to be this close to the UK because their air power is going to start messing with our subs pretty significantly. But this early on, we're going to take the risk. Fourth, we'll send up to the Faroe Islands. So we don't have fifth. Sixth, we'll send to the western approaches. This is kind of one of the most dangerous places to send subs, but we're going to do it anyway because we have subs and we might as well use them. We can't quite get to the very western side of Ireland. That's too bad. We'll send 8 USB into the Irish Sea. That's also very risky. Let's just see how that goes for us. We'll send 9 into Bay of Biscay. That should piss off the French quite a bit. Let's see, 10 we're gonna keep some subs up here, just not as many as before. 10 and 11. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so sub should be redeploying now. Artillery unit in command and control. I like that. Okay, Atlantis and Witter are pretty weak. We'll take advantage of all the subs moving out to redeploy Atlantis to Emden. Okay, we got large caliber machine guns, machine cannons. So this is referring to the like 20 and 30 millimeter guns that the Germans would fit on their aircraft for the majority of World War II. Let's see, where was that tech? Armament. Okay, so that's a one-time tech, so we now have it. And we'll add machine gun cannon combo to the tech tree. And we'll also add aircraft prototype evaluation. And then gun twin engine planes, gun position twin engine planes. So that'll make our bombers have slightly better defense. Alright, let's watch our subs go out into the Atlantic approaches. So you can see that there are quite a bit of British ships in the North Sea. We just don't know what, including French units. They're not seemingly able to spot our submarines, which is good. Doing okay. We're up by Scotland now. Okay, let's hopefully finish that redeployment soon. Okay, we're almost to the new year. Let's get our Oz fleet out on patrol. And then first surface action group, we're going to just keep in port until we get some light carriers, and then we'll have them on patrol as well. So we're not going to get any light carriers though until, I think I said this before, but right after the French campaign is over. Hey, so we sunk a destroyer purely with our subs. Oh, but it was actually a fleet battle, so our submarines all took some damage, but none of them were sunk. And in the process, we killed a destroyer. So this is actually going to be cause for another redeployment, so we're going to send our subs back because they took some damage in that. 8 USB we're going to send back to Hamburg. Let's kind of see if we can get these subs out of harm's way. Yeah, so they're retreating to Devil's Hole. So that sometimes happens if your subs can't disperse fast enough. The British will take advantage of them all being in the same ocean zone and do some damage. So we got to be aware of that for the future. And later on, especially when radar and increased British air cover comes into play, we're never going to want to send our subs out all at once because that kind of thing can happen. Okay, we're going to return just to get our organization back up. Alright. So we're almost ready for our Denmark invasion, so I'm going to cut this video here. Got a nice autosave in there. I'm going to cut this video here. It's January 1st, 1940. So this was really just another redeployment part of the series. So next video, definitely we will be starting our Scandinavian campaign, and we'll continue with some air attacks, and we might, toward the tail end, get started on the French campaign. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it as always. If you like this video, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.